All right, so good evening for our folks joining from Abuja. Good evening to people joining from Cameroon and anywhere else in Africa. For those in the East Coast, good afternoon. If you're joining from the Pacific Coast, good morning. My name is Jude Fokwan, and I am the executive publisher at Spears Books. We are a platform dedicated to promoting African authors, and we have been in existence for 10 years. This is our 10th anniversary, and we are particularly excited to welcome you all to this August event. Professor Razinat Mohammed will tell you that I had to push her for us to have this event, and so we are very excited to have this book launch. She's written a fascinating book, Habiba, which we think deserves more attention, more celebration than it has otherwise had. And so, thank you for joining us to talk about this book, to celebrate it, and to celebrate the author and African literature as well. I will be very brief here. My task here is just to welcome you, and then I'll take a back seat. There is someone who will be steering this big ship to the end, and I'm going to invite one of my editorial team members to introduce Professor Victor Gomia, who is going to be our moderator. So over to you, Lillian, if you're there.
Sure. Thank you. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Dr. Victor Gomia is a professor of world literature.
Good evening.
Okay. Professor Victor Gomia is a professor of world literature at the Department of Languages and Literatures at Delaware State University. His current research interests include popular literature as utilitarian literature in post-colonial settings, as well as globalization and literature. The latter has inspired a project that resulted in Rewriting Past Imagining Futures, Critical Explorations of Contemporary African Fiction and Theatre, a volume he co-edited with Gilbert Shang of Bayreuth University. His most recent journal articles were on Bole Butake and Gugi wa Thiong'o. His most recent awards were from the Delaware Humanities Forum, that's DHF, and Howard University's Center for African Studies. Dr. Gomia is a recent recipient of Delaware State University's Languages and Literatures Department Research and Publications Award. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Gomia to this virtual launch. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, you're unmuted. Go ahead, please.
Okay, again, thank you very much, Lillian. I do appreciate the introduction. And of course, I want just to say that it's a pleasure to be here again to usher in one of those ideas that are coming from the continent, from Africa, which actually, in some sense, articulate the vision and the mission of Spears Media. One of the things that really inspires me to always come back to be part of this endeavor is what Spears Media is actually doing to us as a people, as a continent, and of course, as part of the universe. Spears Media is introducing us to another way of having our voices out there. And it is not just about, not just about selling, it is actually more about having the voice of Africa in a place that it more than deserves. And so very often when I have the opportunity, I make sure that I'm here to participate in the effort. And this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you are, we are welcoming one of the most enthralling pieces of essays, literatures, I would say. In fact, one of the most interesting pieces of writing that I've read for quite a while now. The title is Habiba, and of course, the author is Razinat Mohammed. Razinat Mohammed, we're going to hear more about the author as we move on. I just take this opportunity, this few minutes, to say that I'm glad to be here and that everybody here is welcome and that we look forward to a very informative, very interesting, and of course, very inspiring launching session this afternoon. Again, thank you for everyone who is here. I would like Mr. or Professor Alidu to introduce the author so that we can get to know exactly who Professor Mohammed is. Very often we say in literary theory, in literary criticism, or one of the ways to analyze literary piece is to begin by knowing who the author is, because, like is often said, a writer does not write in a vacuum. And so we begin by just figuring out or trying to know a bit more about the author. Is Professor Alidu here, please? You have the floor to introduce Professor Mohammed to us. Thank you.
There's a quick correction to that. It's Professor Ini Uko.
Oh, okay.
Who is going to introduce the author for us. So Professor Ini Uko, if you're there, please.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that correction. But I see on the program.
Yeah, we made that correction earlier.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Greetings, everyone.
Okay, we're just trying to find you so we can spotlight you. Do you have your video on?
Yes.
Okay. There we go.
All right. Greetings, everyone, and congratulations, Professor Razinat. It's my delight and honor to have to introduce this revered writer and very personal friend of mine. And I'm also very happy that we have had to have this occasion to celebrate her efforts. So, Razinat T Mohammed, Professor of Feminist Literary Criticism, Theoretical Approaches, and Creative Writing at the University of Abuja. She is the award-winning author of A Love Like a Woman's and Other Stories, 2006. Her first novel, Habiba, 2013, was a finalist for the Anna Prize for Prose in 2014. She is also the author of The Travels of a First Wife, original 2015, A New Lie and Other Poems, 2021, My Daughter, My Blood and Other Stories, 2022, Intragender Relations Between Women, a study of Nawal El-Saadawi and Buchi Emechita's novels, 2012. Female Representation in Nigerian Literature. She co-edited The Markers, an anthology of feelings on Boko Haram in 2019. She is a fellow of the Association of Nigerian Authors and chief adjudicator for the Wole Soyinka International Cultural Exchange, ACES, since 2013, among others. She was a resident writer in El Gouna, Egypt in 2011, a two-time literary judge for the prestigious Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Prize for Literature and member Board of Trustees of Cultural SDG for the Universities of Maiduguri, Nigeria, Cape Coast, Ghana, and Hildesheim, Germany. Guest writer at Afrofeminist Ecologies, Rutgers University, New Jersey in 2022. She also was guest writer, Universität Bonn, Germany, 2023, and resident researcher at the Augsburg University, Germany, 2023 as well. She is currently head of the Department of English and Literary Studies at the University of Abuja. Professor Razinat Mohammed is director of the University of Abuja Press and chairperson of the TED Fund academic publication of the University of Abuja. I believe for the want of time, this should suffice. And so I'm very privileged to be the one to present this writer to us today. And so it's my honor to present the author of the novel that we are trying to launch today, and which is titled Habiba. And so Professor Razinat Mohammed, you are welcome. Thank you very much.
Ralph, you should unmute yourself.
All right.
You're unmuted, so we can
All right.
should be able to hear you.
Okay. So I'd like to first apologize for joining late. I had some glitches here due to, the network for the line I was using earlier. So I'd like to welcome everybody for honoring us this evening and evening here in Nigeria for attending this virtual book launch. Because those of you I know who are extremely busy have had to crash your other programs to be here. I truly appreciate everyone's presence here. And I hope that we are going to have a very engaging evening and to know the book Habiba better. Habiba, this is the American edition of the novel Habiba, and I'm really, really, really excited that Spears publication offered to, do their own edition of the book Habiba. And thank you very much, Professor Ini, for the wonderful and beautiful introduction. I know you have taught the novel Habiba, and I'm sure you are going to have one or two things to say about it as the evening progresses. So I don't know, the next item on the program, is it moderator, Professor Victor? Hello? Professor Jude?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you all.
Can the host?
Victor, you were unmuted. You were unmuted.
You have to make me unmute.
Yes, we unmuted you. You came
Okay,
through.
but it's just now I've been struggling. You blocked me from unmuting myself. Okay. Thank you very much. Again, Professor Mohammed, it's a pleasure. Man, just listening at your biography, I didn't comment on that yet. That really tells us that you're one of those people that we really, really count on in coming up with the kind of publication that we just have here. I must confess, I've not read the entire piece yet. I'm about halfway gone. But it's a book that I would typically like everyone to read. It's a very, very good read. The language itself, the setting, it's when you start reading, it's hard to leave it, you know. So I like to, in collaboration with Jude, invite everyone who is on this platform right now to make sure if you've not had a copy yet, get a copy for yourself. And why not give a copy to someone whom you trust or whom you love, someone who is a friend, give them as a gift. I'm going to begin by ordering 2 additional copies. I have a copy already ordered, but I will order 2 additional copies to send to some 2 very special friends that I believe are going to love reading this story. So, Judy, do you have any additional items or information regarding selling the book, talking about the book, making sure people purchase copies? Please take over.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Really appreciate that. You're doing a fantastic job. And yeah, I think I should just say that the book is currently on sale on our website, on our bookstore. If you have read the book, fine. If you think you know people who would love to read this book, just like the moderator said, please purchase a copy for your friends, for your family. We will post the link shortly on the chat so you can see exactly where to purchase that. You may want to skip Amazon for now. I think Amazon has a higher price. We currently have it on discount. So please take advantage of that discount so that this book can be read by many, many people. And this is particularly true for even our folks in Nigeria. If you have friends out here in the US or family members in Europe, please feel free to invite them to purchase a copy. We do ship to Europe. We do ship to all addresses in the United States and Canada. And so, yeah, I think, again, please take advantage of that sale. And we look forward to hearing your comments, your remarks about the book once you have read it. There is a section on our website where you can review the book, and we'll talk about that more later on. But for those who have read the book and would love to post a review, please go ahead. We will make sure that we post the links for you all. Again, you would find all that information shortly. I should also say we have the book in Kindle and Google formats. So it's not just the paperback edition. It is also available in Kindle as well as Google Books. So we will post all those links for you as the event unravels. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator.
Before we move on to the next item on our agenda, is there anyone who would like to indicate to us if he or she wants to get some additional copies? Please, you have the floor. This is the point in our launching process that we open up to people who are participating. You know, if we were in an in-person session, people will be walking upstage and, you know, collecting their copies and greeting the author and the publisher and all that. So we give like 2 or 3 minutes during this virtual launch process for people who are online right now to indicate either just openly to us or in the chat column if you need your copy or extra copies. Then we'll announce it and then we'll just move forward. We have just about 2-3 minutes for that. Anyone, please indicate. Thank you.
While we're doing that, I should just add that we have this event being streamed on YouTube for those who are unable to join us on Zoom. So we've posted the link. If you know a friend or a family member who would love to follow this event, but unable to join in the Zoom room, please share that link with them. So thank you for that. We will post a link for you to purchase the hard copy. I see people asking for details about the hard copy.
I also see that Professor Ojade would like to say something. Please, Prof, you have the floor.
Okay, yeah. I'm Tanuri Ojade, and a colleague of us at University of Abuja sometimes. I want to have 2 additional copies, which I will give to colleagues here in Charlotte. But I also want to encourage those of us who teach courses in universities to recommend the book to some of their students, so that I think that's the best way for works like this to be sold and also to be discussed in class. Nothing is better for a creative work than to be read by many students and essays written on such a work. And in fact, sometimes dissertations could be written on it. So I want to encourage those of us in attendance to this forum they could get their own copies, but try as much as they can to recommend the book, to require the book in one of their courses. Many of us do African literature, feminist African literature, so many post-colonial literature, and this is an excellent book for such a course. So I recommend us to not only just read for ourselves, give to our friends, but recommend it in courses that deal with African literature. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. That's a wonderful contribution, and we thank you again for opening up that other line that we can explore. In addition to what Prof just said, if you are a faculty member in any university in the United States, remember that you can also recommend this book to your library. Typically, libraries will just buy some copies and put in their holdings to enrich their capacity and their volumes that they have in stock. So it's not only about just us buying and also buying for colleagues and friends. We can also recommend through our institution that the library should purchase some copies. That said, I also believe that there's a link that has been shared on the chat link for anyone who wants to buy a copy directly through one of the sales stops to order his or her copy. We also have, I believe, Professor Obafemi's hands is up. So please.
Yep. Thank you. It's strange. I joined immediately started and then lost it. So I lost a lot of the proceedings. I promised Professor Razinat that I will try to be here. And some kind of jinx wanted to prevent me.
You.
But I'm happy to be here because she deserves the presence of every serious writer and every member of ANA and every serious friend of hers. I consider myself a colleague, an older colleague for that matter. So first, I would like to congratulate her and congratulate the publisher. I don't know what the price of the book is. I would like to buy whatever price. If I know what the price is, I see whether I can add one or so more, because I really would be glad to get it read as much as possible. Thank you, and again, Azina, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. We do appreciate it. Anyone else who want to say something? I see a hand up. That will be Abdullah Rashid. Nali, please, you have the floor. And please, if you introduce yourself, let us know. Please be kind to indicate your affiliation to know you a bit more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's really a great honor to come after my teacher has just spoken. Professor Obafemi is my teacher. And after Tenuri Ojaide, he also spoke. I just want to say I'm just excited and I'm really so proud of the author. He's an incredible human being, head of department, director, author, human being to the core. I'm so proud to be here today, to be a part of this wonderful experience, the outing for this great book. And I think Ojaide said it all, that you know, we as scholars can teach the book, we can recommend it. I am going to recommend the book to Northwestern University, where I'm just visiting as a research scholar here. I want to say that I am, you know, I'm at Edu Fellow here, and I am looking forward to a day when Razinat Mohammed, you know, fellowship, you know, will also be created, not only at home at the University of Abuja, but across the world, given the impacts that her writing is making. She's coming, you know, in their tradition of Ama Ata Aidu, you know, great scholars. We have them. We have them. Africa has so many of them. Flora Nwapa, I mean, all over the places, and she's doing so well. So I want to say congratulations to you. And in the tradition of my teacher who just spoke, I said I'm happy that I'm here as part of this endeavor. I will also get copies for myself, and I will ask Akim Alumata to speak to you so that he can arrange for me to have some copies. So thank you so much. But definitely I will recommend it to the Northwestern University Library. It's a huge library here. African Studies Library is huge, and I know that you know, having your books here will also help a lot of scholars and students. Thank you. All the best. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate the. Hello, can you hear? Oh, okay. Good. Thank you again very much.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. The next person on the line is Enon Ta. Please give us the affiliation before you tell us what you got to share with us. Thank you. Enon, please, can you hear us? You have the floor.
Okay,
You need to unmute.
We could come back
Yeah.
to maybe we just proceed. If people have orders to place, they can indicate in the chat. And my suggestion is that we proceed with the program, and we can always come back to this during the Q&A.
I've unmuted myself.
Okay.
Can you see me now? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are. Razinat, congratulations. This is from your Egmont.
Thank you. Yes.
I've already indicated that I'd love to have like 10 copies for my Department of English and Literary Studies, University of Calabar. Actually, it's quite urgent for us. So I don't know where we can get copies in Nigeria, because we are facing accreditation and we need to have some very current materials. So that's what I have to add to all the things that have been said, of course, that would apply in any Department of English and the likes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I believe that Spears will be in touch with you to figure out how fast we can get those copies you want to order right out there to Calabar. Thank you very much. Okay, we now move to the next item we have on the agenda, and that is the virtual launch itself. And I want to hand this to Jude. I think Jude will typically speak to this. So please go ahead.
Yeah, so what we normally do for our virtual launch is to congratulate the author. For those who have copies of their book, we normally would raise the book, and we take a screenshot of this moment, and we declare it launched. So if you happen to have a copy, this is the moment, a physical copy, an electronic copy. Yep, we can see the author's copy there. So we're going to very quickly switch to gallery mode so we can see those who have their copies. Okay, there are few. Thank you for supporting the author and our platform. We appreciate that. So for those who do not yet have a copy, we will unmute everybody so you can still cheer the author. And so this is the moment where we will invite everyone to maybe show your face, celebrate the author, and congratulate her on this title. So again, unmute everybody, control room. So we can unmute everybody. And also, if you've been following, we know lots of people have their videos turned off. This is the moment that we would love for you to turn on your video. So thank you for being here and for supporting the author. So please turn on your videos. We will unmute everybody. So now you can unmute yourself, please. And also on your video, the author would love to see your beautiful faces.
Sorry, you omitted my hands and my interest is something. I don't know if you are hearing me. Hello?
We can hear you. Yes. So this is a moment to congratulate the author. So please, we will not entertain any speeches. We will have an opportunity for comments and remarks later on. At this moment, we will just congratulate the author. For those who do not have a copy of the book, please feel free to clap, cheer, use the
congratulations. I can see the
signs there.
Congratulations.
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 Wow.
You have to wash it later. You have to wash it too.
Congratulations, ma'am.
You must wash it too.
Yes, so.
All right.
Yeah.
I think I understand what it means to wash it. Wash it the Nigerian way.
Yes, we have to wash it. Yeah.
Congrats.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Congratulations, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. We will mute everyone so we can control the noise and proceed with the program. So thank you again for this moment. Over to you, Mr. Moderator.
Okay, thank you. And again, congratulations to the author.
Thank you.
We're going to have a few minutes of music interlude. But before we do, I believe there's somebody who wanted to say a word or two. That will be Benjamin Zugu. Please, we give you maximum 2 minutes to say something before we move on to the second stage of our launch today. Benjamin, please. You have...
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm from Nigeria, and the NEPA factor, I don't have light, so my video cannot display. Sorry. So I just wanted to congratulate Professor Razinat. Is my teacher right from my 100 level to the end, and she has a very great impact on me. I have my copy. Unfortunately, I cannot display, like I said, because I don't have light where I am. So I really want to say a big congratulations, and I just want to say that it's a must read for everybody. And ma'am, I hope you still remember our conversation regarding the sequel. I'm still hoping that you write something. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Benjamin. Now we'll have a few minutes for music interlude.
Quick correction, please. There's no musical interlude in the interest of time. So,
okay.
Yeah, we'll just proceed.
So I guess we'll move straight to next phase of our launching event today. That will be the book appraisal and reading of excerpt, where we have a few people read some excerpt from the text, and we also have some reviewers. We'll give them very brief moment to just give us some insight from their perspectives on the text. I would like to again repeat that because we are in a virtual launch context, we'll not subject this text to the kind of scrutiny that we typically expect when we are in a regular standard book launch process. So, so we give room to the first person to read the first excerpt. That will be, that will be Deborah Samuel. Deborah Samuel, you have
Yes.
3 and 3 minutes, 2 and 3 minutes, so to speak, to just read the excerpt that you want to share with the audience. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. This is
Excuse me, please. Mr. Moderator. Prof. Victor.
Yes, I can hear you.
I think 3 of them are reading.
Okay.
I think Patrick Madu is reading the first part, and then Andrew Bula is supposed to read the second part, and then she will read the last. Isn't it that way, Deborah? Deborah,
Not the
you
order
are
we
reading
have.
what
We have
pages?
Deborah first.
On
the
the
order
program
is
that I have,
first.
on the program I have, we have
Oh,
Deborah
okay.
first.
Okay, then Deborah, read the first. That would be page 142 to 143, I think. 1 page. Do that. The first part.
Correct. Good evening, everyone, or good day, wherever you are. My name is Deborah Samuel. The excerpt. In the morning, while still lying in bed, he thought about his sons, Lemon, 46, who lived at Gwange Ward. He wondered what he was up to since the death of his wife, Altin. In his head, a voice told him to relinquish the girl, Habiba, to Suleiman, and he jumped up from his lying position as if the suggestion came from another voice in the room. No, he said to himself. Everyone should look for his own happiness. His other son, Mohammed, 37, lived in Gombe as a fish merchant, and from what he heard of the boy, he was involved in some good business. Sanusi, 36, was the youngest of his grown sons and from a different mother, born to him by his second wife, Barira, who left him when the boy was only 6 years. Sanusi chose to be an Islamic clergy who engaged in large-scale mixed farming and seemed satisfied with his vocation because he exploited the services of his Quranic pupils and had therefore very minimal expenditure at the end of the day. His farms thrived on the free labor rendered by the children sent from other parts of the northern Nigeria and sometimes from the Niger Republic, Chad, and the Cameroons. They were the Almajiris, pupils. Mal Zubeiru remembered how he had wanted all his sons to learn the white man's secret books, but they had refused to complete formal education and had chosen marriage and whatever they did for a living. He had settled them in their own houses with reasonable capital to begin their own chosen lifestyles. With his daughters, he had had no worries over the 4 older ones because he had married them off as soon as he got wind that they had begun seeing their monthly flows. I would like to know if I have to finish till 1:45 or
Please
if I can stop.
continue.
Great. How else could he be of value to them except to protect their honor through marriage? He had 11 other children, 7 boys and 4 girls from his younger wives. Rabi, his second wife, had not borne him any child yet. In his life, he had been married to 7 wives. He kept a total of 4 at any given time, according to the Islamic injunction. His first wife, Zuwaira, the mother of Layman and Mohammed, he had lost over 20 years ago, while he had divorced the other 3 at separate times for being headstrong. Now, he had had 3 and needed to complete his home. He was a chronic lover of women. He loved each woman for her special qualities. Sometimes, when he was sitting alone, he would reflect on the different reasons why he loved each woman, and often he had laughed to himself, calling himself the old fox. He would smile mischievously when he revisited their thoughts in his head. First, Ramatu, a short buxom, middle-aged woman with a high shrill voice and blessed with large bosoms. He reminded himself of how she would wrap him between the cleavages and even offer him her milk. He had actually learned to suck the nursing woman's breast. He would dream away, longing for the warmth therein. He believed that she herself found some relief in him sucking the milk because it was always too much for her babies, who were born scrawny. The second, Rabbi, was not so endowed. Smallish stature, very dark with wide nostrils. But the old woman, may Allah rest her sweet soul, told him that if ever a woman could mix condiments to delight a man, it was Rabbi. Although he pitied her because he could tell that she made extra efforts to bleach her face to a lighter complexion because of Hawa, his third wife. He could tell that Hawa's coming into the household had a lot to do with the mental imbalance that Rabbi had been plunged into. He had never regretted marrying her, though, because he made sure that it was only on her nights that he invited his friends to eat outside his front gates with him. She was an asset for the Capes. His third, Hawa, was very fair-skinned, was a woman meant for a king, gazelle-like, a beautiful woman by any standard. Her curvatures were at their right places. Nothing was out of its position. A perfect physical creation. In spite of her 3 children, she was a creature for worship. He had never had enough of her, and whenever she was sliding out of bed, he never tired to steal glances at her curves and smile with satisfaction. She was his invaluable asset. As for his newfound blossom, Malsbury reflected and grinned like a shy schoolchild at the thoughts of Habiba. To him, old age was something dreadful and a constant reminder of the fact that one was on the verge of expiration. To handle that, he needed the blossoming youth that he found in the girl Habiba. The freshness of youth was to him magical, and as the saying goes, an old wine put in a new bottle was all that one needed to spice up one's life. His life would do with some rejuvenation that marrying Habiba promised. Malzubeiru simply lay there smiling to himself, and how memorable he thought of some of his experiences were. He was satisfied with life as it was since he had what he wanted out of it. Other things he was sure to get at a fee, which incidentally included Saleh's pride in the fight for the possession of the girl Habiba. His thoughts went to the long waits for the old woman's death. Moreover, no one mentioned the toshi that he had already sent, showing his intention to marry the girl a year earlier. At moments like that, he wished that the old woman was still alive. How was he going to broach the matter to Saleh? He had pondered on the possibility of visiting him to talk about the issue, but his will always had disappointed him. He would think about visiting Saleh to ask for the money, not because he needed it, but for want of something to discuss or hinge his visit to. As always, his courage had failed him. He realized, however, that he had to do something eventually, and the sooner, the best for all of them. Having so decided, he set a date to make his visits to Saleh's house. Thank you.
Thank you.
Much, Deborah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you
That
very
was a
much.
wonderful read. And just so everyone knows, this is just an excerpt. Just listen to Deborah read this. anyone who really knows what literature, what a fine piece of writing is all about, would love to just read this text. Again, thank you very much. So now we move to our next speaker, who is actually someone who is going to present a brief review of the book. I believe I'm expected to present the person's brief biodata, and we're talking here about Professor Ralia Abdullahi. Prof, you have just 5 minutes. Again, this is not a standard. Again?
Ralia is not around.
Oh, okay. All right. So no problem. We'll move to the second reviewer or the second reading.
Quick correction. We do have a recording that she sent.
Okay.
She's not around. We will play that.
So I'll go ahead and read the biography of the presenter so that we then listen to the recording. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay, good. So Professor Ralia Abdullahi holds a PhD, and he was born and raised in Kano State in northern Nigeria. She teaches literature courses, including critical theory, nonfiction, women writers, and modern poetry in the Department of English and Literary Studies at Bayero University in Kano. She's a fellow of the U.S. Institute on American Literature and the African Humanities Program of the American Council of Learned Societies. Her current research is a fascinating exploration of the writings of women in northern Nigeria, encompassing both print and online media. So we'll now listen to her review of Habiba. Jude, please, you have the floor, and our technical team.
Hello, everyone, and a very good day to you. My name is Dr. Ralia M. Abdullahi. I am a lecturer at the Department of English and Literary Studies of Bayero University, Kano, in Nigeria. I wish to thank the publishers, SAYES, for asking me to review this novel, for indeed, Razinat T. Mohammed is a writer whom I respect and whose works I have grown to love and cherish. The particular novel that I'm about to review, Habiba, has in fact become a family favorite for me and for my 13-year-old daughter. So here is my review. Razinat T. Mohammed's Habiba tells the story of a young girl who is forced into marriage at a young age to a man who is old enough to be her grandfather. It is a story about a broken home, an insensitive and domineering matriarch who cares nothing for the feelings of her son or her grandchildren, and a helpless child and her younger sister who are forced into circumstances beyond their control. Habiba is a haunting portrayal of the damaging consequences of a father's failure to stand firm in his duties as head and protector of his family in a society that is absolutely patriarchal. Here is a story where a mother abandons her children to their fate because she herself is completely powerless against the forces of society, where the girl child is currency to be exchanged for financial gain, where a wife becomes her husband's mother, where polygyny causes emotional and psychological trauma in the wives, and where co-wives become lovers. All of this set in a society plagued by abject poverty, a natural disaster, a completely neglectful government, and an emerging religious insurgency. Habiba leaves a bitter taste in the mouth of the reader because it is relentless in its portrayal of the brutal realities of life in northeastern Nigeria. The story offers no comfort to the reader. Razinat Mohammed remains faithful to her eponymous heroine's reality throughout, cutting no quarter to her reader's sensibilities. Like the Ghanaian novelist Ayi Kweama in his The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, Ms. Mohammed is unapologetic in depicting a society that everywhere shows the effects of poverty and government neglect. Filthy environments littered with human waste and crisscrossed with gutters, a high mortality rate due to unaffordable healthcare, a population worn down and defeated by a natural disaster, and life punctuated by the sounds of bombs exploding in the distance. Yet through it all, the reader sees a community bound by solidarity, empathy, and good neighborliness. It is not a story for the faint-hearted. Sadly, none of it is hyperbolic, for the heroine Habiba is a symbol of too many a girl child in northeastern Nigeria. Indeed, one remarkable thing about the novel is that there is no description of Habiba's physical attributes, an indication that she could be any northeastern girl. This is a sharp break away from the common practice in the so-called Soyayya romance novels, for which the predominantly Hausa-speaking northern Nigeria is better known, where there is a preoccupation with looks and with matters of the heart. Like other women writers of northern Nigerian origin who write in English, such as Zaynab Al-Ali, Sefi Atta, and Sefia Eru, Razinat Mohammed shows a preoccupation with girl-child education, early and arranged marriages, polygyny, and the environment. Although many paragraphs in the novel are too long, and there are often sudden shifts in points of view which could be disorienting, Habiba is written in simple, accessible English with a lot of local color and flavor, such as northern Nigerian cuisine and wedding and mourning rites and practices. The novel's characters are rich and unforgettable, displaying the author's deep understanding of human nature and the forces that shape human actions and decisions. The eponymous heroine in particular is a character that will stay with the reader and provoke a longing for more of her story. Habiba will be excellent material for researchers in the fields of northern Nigerian literature, African women's writing, cultural studies, feminism, linguistics, women writers, eco-criticism, and environmental studies, and for those seeking to understand the underlying causes of poor girl-child education in northeastern Nigeria and the detrimental effects that it has on the society. For the first world reader, Habiba opens a window onto the shocking realities of life in the global south and would therefore be an excellent resource for a comparative analysis with the works of other women writers from across the globe. The average reader would be interested to see how life is lived in a polygynous setting and how women navigate their existence in a society where they have very little to no power.
I guess that's the end of the review.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Please extend our appreciation of that very insightful presentation, insightful exploration textbook. We're going to listen to the second reader of an excerpt in the book, and this is going to be Andrew Buller. Please, Andrew, you have the floor.
Quick correction, the excerpt has been read.
Yeah.
We'll just move on to the next review, please.
Okay, all right, no problem. So,
Is not able to.
yeah, go ahead.
No, he is not even able to join us because of hitches.
Okay.
And
okay.
the whole excerpt have been read, yeah.
Okay, no problem. We'll move to the second reviewer. Our second reviewer is going to be Zaynab Ango. I don't know if he or she is doing so in person or it's also a recorded piece. Either is going to be fine. Is Zaynab here with us today?
Yes, please.
She's here. Yes, she is.
Good.
She is.
Thank you very much. Zaynab, please, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening. I'm sorry I cannot use the video because the quality of the network is poor, so I have to compromise the video so that we get the voice. Is that okay? Can you hear me now?
Okay, that's very okay.
Absolutely.
We can hear you.
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay, yes. So I'll just go straight ahead, and because we've listened to that brilliant review from Ralia, I'll just put my notes down and just discuss some of the themes of the novel which I think that Ralia did not mention, and I think they're important. So first, there is a very important depiction of the environment in the novel, and because the environment is very relevant to human existence, and I think it is one theme that we need to pay attention to when we read this novel. Maiduguri, the setting of the novel, sits at the northeast, which is close to the Sahara, and which is prone to environmental disaster. And this is also exacerbated by deforestation. And so the disaster, the windstorm that happened in the novel, which actually set the stage for the events that unfold, is a result of deforestation. And so we see in this novel one huge concern of scholars in the global south, the so-called global south, about how depletion of environment affect lives and livelihoods. The family of Habiba lost, the father, Malan Sali, lost his business because of the windstorm. And his mother also got choked and was admitted in the hospital, and he used all his savings to save the mother's life. And that led to him giving out Habiba in marriage to settle the bad loan he took from Alhaji Zubairu. So this novel, it's a brilliant, it shows a nexus of environmental depletion and the subjugation of women, and also objectification of the female body. And that's the next topic I want to talk about. The female body in this novel is shown as being objectified. From that excerpt which the lady read for us earlier on, you could see how the four wives are described, how they come to us as actually as objects, not having any agency. The first one is for her sexual prowess, so in bodily endowment. The second one for her culinary skills. The third one for her beauty, and the fourth one for her youth. So this is how women's body are objectified in a typical setting, which is deeply patriarchal, which the body of the woman is just there to serve the pleasure and whims in this case of men. And the preference also for boys over girls, to have children, to give birth to male children rather than female children. It's what actually caused the problem of divorce, broken home. Habiba's mother was sent away from the home because she couldn't have male children. And the matriarch herself, I like to see her as a product of patriarchy herself. And she thinks that preference over a male child will keep the tradition, will keep the lineage, and then girls are utterly useless. So the antagonism, I think, is actually not as a result of any hatred for the woman, Habiba's mother, but for her inability to have a male child. And so patriarchy is deep in that society, and when people respond to this ideology in various ways, like we see in the matriarch, and then of course Habiba's father, and the other characters. So, but for me, it is the end of the story is redemptive. It is not completely bleak, because we find something that Razina did that many authors in northern Nigeria will dare not do, to go into discuss of sexuality. Even though it's just toward the tail end of the novel, a page or two, for me that is the part that where Habiba gained agency of her body. She reclaims her body by deciding what she wants to do with her body, And right under the roof of the man who thinks he has absolute control over her body, she gets involved in a relationship, and a loving relationship with her co-wife. And even though she had earlier thought of running off to the city or doing something to get away from the marriage, she finds that she could have the comfort of living in the home as well as having her emotional needs taken care of. For me, that is masterful. She has reclaimed agency of her body, and it is not bleak. For me, the ending is not bleak at all. So when we asked in the beginning that what future does the girl have, the girl child has, she does have a future. She by gaining agency, by reclaiming her body, it is a step towards that future. So this book is an invaluable resource for researchers and teachers in feminist studies, gender and sexuality studies, environmental studies, especially in ecofeminist theories and practice. And we thank Razinat Mohammed for gifting us this beautiful book, which I recommend all of you to grab a copy and read and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much for that very insightful exploration, insightful presentation on the text, Habiba. Our next item here will be item number 8. We call this the book giveaway in the typical SPS tradition of book launching. We come to this point where we do a short quiz and we offer some text free of charge to some participant here who will win the quiz, who emerge victorious. And the idea here is to make the audience active in the launching process. So we really do prize audience participation. And when we come to this phase, we usually hand it on to Lilian and Jude. Please take over and run the book giveaway for this session. Thank you.
Is Lillian there?
Sorry, I was just putting the link for the quiz in the chat. So please, if you can view the chat, please use that link to join. Then I'll start sharing my screen shortly. And also when I do that, there'll be a QR code for those who can scan. Can everybody see that link?
No.
I'm gonna drop it again. If you click that, it should take you to. Okay, I see 7 people have joined already. The number is increasing. So let me share my screen. So this is a fun quiz, just to take a little break from the launch, but also get to know the author a bit, and also just to know a little bit about the book. And it has 10 questions. And the key with getting ahead of the quiz is to answer accurately, but also answer fast. So, and the winner, the first prize winner will get a copy of Narrow Escapes by Tanure Ojaide, and the second place winner will get a copy of The Journey's End by Babila Mutia, both publications by Spears Books. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen? So we have 11, 10? Yeah, 10 players. So we'll go ahead and start. Let me make this bigger. So first question. Where was Razinat Mohammed born? You have 15 seconds to answer. Hopefully you all have your real names on that. Okay, 3 people got that right. She was born in Maiduguri. Very good. And let's see who got it. What, 3 people? Okay, so the person leading the quiz is Deborah, who got the answer fastest. Okay, next question. Which primary school did Razinat attend? How well do you know the author? Let's see your answers. Time's up. Oh, good. 4 people got that right. Gwange 1 primary school. And let's see how that affects the leaderboard. Oops, sorry. Oh, I don't have a leaderboard. Okay. Third question. She's well known as a novelist, but she's also a poet. What is the title of some of her poetry? Okay, 3 people got that right. The Wind Blows Hard is the right answer. Yeah, people know your works. Okay. Let's see how that affects the leaderboard. Okay, Montana was the fastest. You still have up time, a few more questions to redeem yourself. Which of the following is Razinat's first publication? Four people have answered. 5 seconds. 6 people responded. 1 person got that right. A Love Like a Woman's. Well done. Who got it right? Sakura.
My name is not coming up there. I've ticked out the answers.
You have ticked out the answers?
Yeah, my name is not coming up there.
Why is it not coming up? I'm not sure why. Because everybody who's responded should be showing here. Did you start at the beginning?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry about that. Okay.
My name is not coming up too, and I registered. I've been answering all the questions.
You're
I'm not
answering
sure
here, you're ticking here.
Say it again.
Are you clicking on your device?
Yeah, I'm clicking on the device. I'm asking the questions.
I do apologize about that. I don't know why it is not coming up. So it's showing 3 people have responded, 4, 5, 4, 5. So only 5 people have responded so far. And 1 got it right. Okay, it seems there's an issue because nothing is changing at these ones here. Only those, I am not sure. We haven't had this before. I apologize for that. Okay, next questions. Says 13 players ready. Which of the following stories is set in Saudi Arabia? Oh, 1 got that right. Well done, congratulations. Is that one of the people who have Idris got that right? And next. Razina has not taught at this university. Very good. Yobe State University is the correct answer. Well done. Who got that right? Oh, okay. Who was the fastest? Bizum. Bizum was the fastest to get that answer. But Deborah remains the leader on the quiz. Okay. Question 8. Her academic research is in one of the following areas. And if you listen to the book reviews, you would have picked up on some of these themes. 6 people answered, almost time. All 6 got it right. Well done, well done. Who got it the fastest? Let's see. Sam got it the fastest. Well done. Question 9 of 11. In the book, Habiba's grandmother plays a pivotal role in her life. What is the name of her grandmother? Those who have read the book. Very good. Hamsatu. Very good. For the 3 people who got that right. Who got it fastest? See if that changes things at the top. It does. So Sam is now at the top. Idris has climbed to 2nd place and Deborah has been displaced to 3rd place. So more chance. Where did Razinat obtain her PhD? Very good. University of my degree. So 5 people got that right. Looks like Sanusi was the fastest. I'm not sure. Oh, Idris was the fastest. Sam is still in the lead. Last one. How old is Habiba when they bring her a sweeter? Oh, nice. All 6 got that right. Okay, might be a nail-biting finish here. What difference does it make? Who got it fast? Does that change things at the top? No, it doesn't. So Sam is the winner of the first prize and will get a copy of the book, the poetry collection by Tanuri Ojaide. And Idris will get a 2nd prize and of the book by Babila Mutir. Thank you all for participating, and please send us a DM with your address so we can have that book, the book you want shipped to you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Do you mind if I say something real quick?
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Professor Mohammed. My name is Samuel Adewumi. I am the winner of the first position in the just concluded quiz. I am getting my master's degree here in the United States, and I'm so very much excited to finally see your face. The first time I read your work was in 2019. I used your work for my final year project in school. I am a graduate of the University of Ilorin, Nigeria in Kwara State. So I used your work, Habiba, for my final year project. And when I was applying for my graduate study here in the United States, I submitted the project I wrote as one of the writing samples I submitted. And the writing sample got me 3 different admissions, as well as scholarship worth thousands of dollars. So that was a really interesting read for me. And thank you so much for writing such a fantastic novel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that appraisal. Ladies and gentlemen, just draw attention to a little mistake that we made. We're supposed to have heard from the author herself, read an excerpt from the text. So we're going to give Professor Mohammed some time to do some reading of her own text. Usually there's a different feeling when the author herself is reading her text or an excerpt from her text. You have the floor, Prof.
Wow, a very, very interesting evening. So I thank you all very, very much for this participation. Without wasting much of our time, for those people who have not read the book, the father of Habiba here, it's what we call in northern Nigeria a child who respects his mother. So because the position of the mother in northern Nigeria, and indeed Islam, it's very, very highly regarded and highly placed, because it is believed in Islam that you must leave this world. At the end of the day, you must pass this world on a good term with your mother. So because of this upbringing, the father of Habiba, Saleh, is not able to challenge the decisions that his mother makes, even when it affects him as a person and his family. So on one of these occasions, when Habiba and her younger sister, Ummi, returned to live with him, and then his mother, that is Saleh's mother, now brings in the Zubairu as a suitor to marry the 13-year-old Habiba. So he, in protest, he sleeps out in his shop. But in the morning, he returns to the house and he makes up his mind to now challenge the mother for the first time in his life. So I begin reading, for those of you who have the book, from page 59. This is Saleh coming in to speak with his mother, to leave his daughter Habiba to continue with her schooling. Assalamu alaikum, he announced. He announced his presence and cleared his throat loudly, as though his confidence needed a little boosting. The old woman stared and looked into the face of the standing man. Aha, I knew you were going nowhere, Sally, she said ghoulishly. Yes, I was going nowhere. I have come to tell you not to go ahead with whatever plans it is that you are making about my daughter. I will not watch you destroy her life. Screamed the old woman in a voice that was more of a hysterical bleat than a cry of surprise. I mean what I said, mother. The girl will go to school until I am unable to pay her fees. Whatever you have received from the person you have in mind must be returned, because I will not allow you do this to me. Too bad, Sally. We have already committed ourselves, as you know. We, mother, who are the we here? Our family, of course. You are on your own, mother. I have to tell you that it's my duty as the father and head of this family to protect everyone, and I am not accepting this. What do you want to do then? Disgrace me in the memory of your father and the memory of your father? She was beginning to play her game of that with him. Keep my dead father out of this. That blackmail will not work on me in this case. Find something else to hinge yourself on. Finding his moral beefing up. Are you out of your mind? Sally, do you now talk to your mother with disrespect, as if you have not been properly brought up? Whatever you say, that daughter of Candace will not bring shame to us. What is it that you have against the child? I know that Zubairu has money to throw around. Mother, I will not allow you do this to me and my family. Family? I am not family. That is what it's all about, isn't it? I did not say that. I simply want you to leave my wife and children
when you
alone.
serve, I put my one gizzard there. You can take my one gizzard and add to your own.
Sorry?
Please go ahead.
Okay. What brought your wife into this matter now? Do you want to humiliate me, Saleh? Sadia sent you here to tell me this. screamed the old woman, her voice visibly constricted. Sally watched as her personality changed to that of an imbecile, with slimy saliva trailing the sides of her mouth in a matter of seconds, and knew that she had that special ability to change when she wanted to have her way. In view of the matter at hand, he knew that he was not going to allow his mother to have her way as usual. She could think of anything for all he cared. He watched as she slid through from her mat to the cold floor and back again. When the cold bite on the floor reached her aching bones like an overgrown mollusk, she wriggled all over like one in great pain. First, it was Kande, and now it's Sadia. Have you ever thought, Mother, that Allah had remembered to also put a little brain in my head? When he sent me into your womb, he said, not wanting to be taken in by her performance, yet he knew his limits with her. Why you Allah now? She exclaimed and began crying. It was at that instant that she caught the attention of the rest of the household. Sadia came out and walked towards them, while the children simply stopped whatever they were at and watched for signs of sincerity in the screams. They knew their grandmother well enough to detect her every pretense. Talatu and Ummi were experts at watching those voluptuous lips twist in mock agony each time the old lady or old woman needed to act smart. Saleh watched as she wriggled and cried without conviction. Even he could see that much of her mouth me let out a wry smile. Noticing the household at her feet, the old woman changed the tune of her cry to a snort-like sound that only made the two girls bite at their lower lips to suppress the uproar that was itching to erupt. What did she want again, they wondered. The boys were least interested in the happening and were only there to complete the attendance. Baba Audu was anxious to resume his game of wheel. The woman felt like a queen sitting on her throne. It did not matter if it was an ordinary mat that she was sprawled on. What was important was the fact that she could be stood on by an entire clan. Was it not an entire clan? After all, even baby Usman was not left out. He was strapped securely on Habiba's back. I think I'll stop there. Thank you very much for your attention and time.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Like I said earlier, it's always different when the author herself is reading those excerpts. That came across really different, a bit richer in some sense, because we see you actually doing the writing and the reading at the same time. So thank you very much for the eloquence and for the presentation. In the interest of time, we are going to just move straight to one of our most exciting items on the agenda in our virtual launching. I'm talking about the Q&A, and it's very open-ended. We want to give room to all participants to be part of this conversation, those who have read and those who have not read alike. So the floor is basically open for questions and answers. Some of the questions may be directed to the author directly, but they can also be directed to the moderator or to the publisher. In fact, we are now like in an open forum for a conversation, for questions, for answers, for insight, for contributions, for perspectives, and what have you. So the floor is open. And I see here that Samuel Adewumi's hand is up. Samuel, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Professor Mohammed, again.
Thank
Like I
you.
said, it's so nice to hear from you. So while I was writing about your work in during my undergrad, in my final year of undergrad, one of the things I struggled with, one of the things I grappled with was uh, how much of this work is, because I stayed a little bit in the north, right? I served in Kano State, and after my service in Kano State, I stayed back for a year to work at the radio station where I served. So I understand a little bit the socio-political situation in the northern part of the country. So since you incorporated a female protagonist in your work, a part of me wants to believe that, I mean, it's not your character, obviously, that is for sure. But a part of me wants to believe that you sort of bring yourself into this novel. I understand it's a work of fiction, but when I was reading the novel, I sort of see the female character in some of the females from the north I actually interacted with. So my question is, how much of this work is based on your personal experience, probably from the people you've spoken with, or from your childhood, or from the girls you grew up with, and how much of this work is fiction, if that makes sense?
Am I to answer?
Sure, Prof.
Am I to respond? Oh, I
Yes.
see. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Samuel, for that question. Habiba is essentially a fictional work. But, as a writer, we live in a larger society. And in this larger society, as we were growing up, there were incidences of girls being married too early in their lives, girls being given out to husbands that are or were older than even their fathers. So I think the sensibility of a young child that's growing up in a community that is very predominantly Muslim and predominantly this kind of practice is obtainable. So you sometimes when you are writing these experiences will come to you unconsciously, and then you begin to see that you are bringing forth these experiences that the community shares in your works. I set out actually to write about a young child that is deprived Western education, deprived of her love for Western education. And this is very predominant in our place. Now, you see many girls that will want to continue with education, but they are scuttled. Their desires are scuttled and they are given out in marriages, and there's nothing they can do. So I fictionalize a young child of 13, 14, or 15 that is given out, and then I try to give a reason why a father would want to do that to his child. And that is why Saleh is, I contrived that he had challenges, and then there is of course that storm. If you had lived in the north, you would know that we are often besieged by the sandstorms. In Maiduguri, there is hardly a year before the rainy season comes, there will be this dark sandstorm that is pitch dark sometimes. And Professor Ojaide will know what I'm talking about really, because I'm sure he will remember that he has had several of such experiences. So it's just I don't want to say that it is a particular experience that I put there, but over my growing up years. I've been witness to so many young girls being removed from school and married off at a very tender age. So many, some of them even, pour gasoline on themselves and ignite, and then they burn to death. So it's but the situation is improving in the Northeast, at least in Maiduguri, Borno State. The situation is improving, but that is not to say that it is still not happening, because I know that it's still happening. I hope I've answered Samuel's question. Hello?
Hear me? Okay. Good. Thanks so much, Prof, for that very insightful response. Of course, truly, as you said, a writer doesn't write in a vacuum. A writer consciously or unconsciously finds him or herself in her own text. But on the other hand, we also know that critical theory and critical discourse, particularly Roland Barthes, I believe Roland Barthes is the critic who says that the writer has died, long live the critic, meaning that the writer's job is done when the work is out. So the job is now us, the critics, to figure out what exactly the writer set out to do. And a good literary work is timeless and placeless. I can assure you that if you move the setting of this text to some other part of the continent, in fact, some other part of the world, you'll be surprised. The same thing happening in this text are happening in other part of the world as well. So a good literary work is timeless, is also placeless. And I want to say this piece in particular is really a text that we need to highlight and make sure that we disseminate for many more people to have access to. Good. Any other question or comment or observation or perspective from the audience?
May I just suggest that we take 2 or 3 comments and then give room for the author to respond?
Okay, sounds good. Floor is open.
And for those who want, Martin Jumbam.
I see Martin. Martin, please, you have the floor. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Am I coming across?
Sure, you are.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. I'd like to congratulate the writer, Razinat Mohammed. I'm fascinated by writing that is simple, clear, straightforward. And that is what I see here. I'm just about halfway through your book. I haven't read it all, but your description, the sentences you use, they're short, straightforward, and the work carries me along, so I congratulate you for that, So that's the kind of writing I really adore, writing that is simple, straightforward, preference for the active voice and not the passive, and the kind of thing I teach my students when I have a chance to. So I like to congratulate you on that. It's a beautiful, at least the section I have read, I'm about halfway through your work. And what you just read to us now is something that I found really quite fascinating. And the description of the matriarch, the woman, really, it's great description, great literature. Thank you very much. And I think it's the moderator who said that if you look keenly, many of the things you are saying here cut across cultures and across continents. I come from the northwest region of Cameroon, and what you are describing there about the matriarch, because sometimes I found that in my own culture, the women, the laws may be made by the men, but the women implement them against other women in a very very brutal manner. The women make other women victims of the laws that are put in place by the men. And I could see that coming across. Well, in your case, it's probably religion bound, Islam, but it's the same thing across Africa. My congratulations. I mean, I'm
Thank
really
you, sir.
looking forward to completing your work. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate.
Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Who else? Anyone else who want to chime in? The floor is open still.
If you use the raise hand feature, it'll be easier for us to identify you. So please use the raise hand feature.
Okay, I see Ini. Ini, please, you have the floor.
She's still around. Ananta is still around.
Yes, we can hear you.
Please unmute yourself.
Maybe she's having challenges.
You can hit the unmute button, Ini.
Can you hit the unmute button?
Maybe she's offline.
Okay.
Let me check. Oh, she's still on.
Yeah, she's on, but she's mute. She needs to click on unmute in order to be heard.
Okay. Also, just a reminder that we have links for people who want to purchase a copy of the book today. We've been sharing a link for how to purchase that on our website.
Ini, can you hear us? Apparently she's not. Yeah. Ini, can you hear us? She has some technical.
If not, we can move on if there are no more questions.
Sure. Another person, comment, question, observation?
Daniel?
Daniel, Johanna, please, you have the floor.
Right. Standing on the existing protocol, I still congratulate Professor Razinat Mohammed. I am happy to be part of this meeting great minds. Though I'm a young writer, still growing. I was opportune to meet her in person when she was still in Maiduguri. That was when she was part of the English department. Yes. I still remember when I met Tanuri Ojai. I'm so much happy to listen to the excerpt from the book, and I really want Professor to please throw more light on the inspiration behind the book.
Inspiration? Okay.
Yes.
Should I? Okay. Did you say inspiration?
Yes, Prof. Yes. What inspired you to write the book?
All right. Thank you, Daniel. I would say again that, I'm sure you are in Maiduguri right now, right?
Yes,
Prof. Now, maybe in the last couple of years, but then in the last 1 decade, you do know that there has been this sensitization, huge sensitization going on for girl children to be sent to school. And for children who are already in school, girl children that is, who are already in school, to not be removed from school for the purposes or reasons of marriage, even if it is to a young boy. You know, it doesn't have to be if to old men. Now, if you remove a girl child from school to marry her off, it's almost like destroying, killing that child. That is, so I thought of writing that book, although girl child education is one theme, is only one of the themes that you encounter. And I appreciate the reviewers for very, very, very insightful reviews that they have presented this evening. You know, they have touched on those other themes that were very important to me, that made me to really go into the process of writing Habiba. You know, the culture, for cultural studies, that book should be very significant, because I wanted people to know that there are obnoxious cultural practices of the people of Northern Nigeria, particularly, and I thank God that the moderator and Prof. Martin have also observed that it is a common practice to many parts of Africa. Now, if you look at some of the cultural practices that this book highlights, so these were some of the things that I wanted to bring to the fore. Let people around the world also know that these are the kind of cultural practices that either keeping the female child down, or depriving the female child of going to school, or the objectification that Dr. Zaynab Ango mentioned in her review. It's a very, very important thing, because if you see, often you find men talk about women as though these women were just, were insignificant, were only good for marriages and the bearing of children and cooking their meals. So these were some of the things that prompted me to actually want to highlight the culture of people of Northern Nigeria. Now, so that maybe with more awareness being created by our literatures in the North, maybe some of these practices that are obnoxious especially can, be minimized, or can improve, can change, can whatever anybody wants to think. But then, yes, I was inspired by the need to expose some of these horrific cultural practices that should have been abandoned many decades back. Okay.
Thank you.
I hope I've answered some of your questions.
Thank you.
Yes, you have answered my questions, Prof. And I'm
Thank
happy.
You. Thank you.
I'll be supporting the school where I work with 2 copies of it.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much, Mr. Thank you. Good. Anyone else want to chime in?
Ini is back. Unmute yourself, please. Okay, can you see a message saying unmute? The host is asking you to unmute. Just accept that unmute. We can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh, you have to unmute.
Go to where the microphone is showing and just click on there, and it will unmute you on your screen.
She could still be having issues.
I think she has tech issues. It must be a hardware.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
But she spoke earlier, so
Yeah.
But it happens.
You know,
where
our
your Zoom
network,
is, if you see the microphone, you can't see the microphone.
she's familiar with it. It must be a technical issue.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Sorry about that. Because we can really see you, but nothing is coming through.
Yeah.
And from the host end, I'm clicking on mute. I'm asking her to unmute. So can you try unmuting all participants and see if that
Oh,
helps?
let's try that.
Yeah.
Okay, try that. Let's see. Can you try to unmute?
Yeah, I think that would be good to unmute her.
Well, everybody can unmute themselves now.
Can you hear me now, please?
Yes.
Yep. Is she the one talking?
No, she's not the one. So hers is
Hello?
specific to our hardware.
This is Lola, please.
Oh,
This
okay.
is Lola, please.
All right, please, Lola, you have the floor.
Hold on. Okay, so Ini still can't speak. Okay.
Yeah, she definitely has a
He
problem.
has an
Am
issue
I
with.
being heard now?
Yes, please.
Hello?
Yeah. Is
Hello,
that
Lola.
Okay. Hello, Professor Mohammed. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me start by thanking the moderator and this peers group in particular for giving us writers this platform for our visibility. And I want to thank the author on whose behalf we are here today. I've not read the book, unfortunately, but I am benefiting a lot from the questions, the reviews, and the answers. I have a question, a brief question here. Professor Mohammed, you said you were moved by some of the of nurture's practices against the girl child in the north, and you write to expose some of these practices with the intention of attracting change, improvement. And we are quite aware, as Tav Jumbam said, some of these practices are promoted by patriarchy. The traditional institutions, our traditional institutions, the religious institutions, they play a great role in this. Now, my question is what we are doing here. Are they aware? Do they get to read these books? How do we expect people change to come from people who do not even read the books to discover the content of the book, to get an idea of what is being castigated or what we are making an appeal to them to change? That is my question, please.
All right. Thank you, Lola, for this
And
very important.
before I hand over to you, please, I will get my copies. I think 5 copies through you. I learned from Prof. Jude that you are in Nigeria, so I will be glad to get 5 copies through you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Professor Jude, I hope you have heard that. Now, thank you very much for that question. We are hoping that some of these are rural people, because most of these practices are now more predominant in the rural areas. And we are hoping that these privileged male children who are permitted to go to school can one day read some of these books that we write and effect such changes later. This is my thinking. Because where they give preferences to the male children to go to school, I think that being the patriarchal, they should eventually, it's not a one-day thing. It is something that has to come gradually. Yes, over a very long period of time. So my thinking is, or my belief is that these male children that are permitted to go to school will read some of these our books, will read, because I'm not particularly the only one writing about male preferences or girl child not being permitted to go to school. A few northern women and men writers have been, highlighting these issues. Some of these male children may read them and then go back, since they are the patriarchal, and they can change some of these things. Eventually, we are hopeful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prof. That was a very interesting question from Lola. It's an old question that has often come up in African literature generally. Discussions and conversations on African literature, especially the slice of African literature writers and critics that we describe as those who write literature of combat. The question as to how exactly the pieces that they write and publish can affect the changes that they advocate for. I believe that an issue as endemic, like the one that I raised in this text, can be addressed from multifaceted perspectives. All right, as a writer, you have played your part. There are probably people who are in civil society who do some activities that are geared towards sensitizing people and also drawing attention to the injustice perpetrated on women and so on and so forth. So it's a very good question Lola asked, and of course, it's a recurrent question in African literature that has always been there. So thank you. I will hear from one last person. If there's nobody else, I believe that we are way beyond our time. Of course, when you have a text like this, you are bound to go beyond the normal time, right? So, Prof, I'll give room to the CEO of Spears to actually give us the closing remarks. It's been a pleasure to sit here and moderate this wonderful book launch. Prof, again, congratulations. I look forward to connecting with you at some point, so we'll continue the conversation in other aspects. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Jude, you have the floor. I see a hand there.
So let me clarify. The author would go first, and then the publishing team, and then the moderator closes it. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So I want to thank first my publishers for, insisting to do this book launch today. I recall that, of course, as he said earlier, I wasn't very keen on it. I told him I didn't like to be always on the spotlight. I don't like it. But he insisted, he said, Habiba needed to be, presented to the world. And I agreed with him. So I thank you and your team for pulling through and pulling off this book launch today. I appreciate it. So Professor Victor, for a fantastic moderation, I thank you. I thank you very, very much. For Lillian, thank you very much for anchoring with my publishers. I thank you very much for your role. I want to thank everyone that made out time to attend this very important book launch. First, I'd like to thank my former teacher, Professor Tanure Ojaide, for making out time to be here. And then I thank another mentor of mine, Professor Olu Obafemi, who spoke earlier and ordered his copy. I want to thank him because this week has been very busy for him, I know it. And he was able to be part of this up to the end. I am really, really grateful. Professor Abdurrashid Naala is the immediate vice chancellor of my university, University of Abuja. He is, I don't know if you don't call it vice chancellor there, right? The chancellor. So he is the immediate vice chancellor of the University of Abuja. And I only sent him this invite this afternoon. And he assured me that he was going to be here. Sir, I am very grateful. Thank you very much. Professor Enonta is the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Calabar. Look at, she's been here from the start to the end. Ma'am, my big sister, I really am grateful for your presence. And Professor Eno, my big sister as well and friend, thank you so much for reading the introduction. Very sonorous voice, very eloquent. I appreciate all of you. My students, my PG students that are here present. Patrick, I'm sorry you could not read any excerpt because there were glitches and hitches. Deborah, thank you very much for your beautiful reading. Andrew Bula was not able to join, and I'm sure some of my other PG students are in attendance. I thank you all. I cannot mention everybody's name. Thank you all very, 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 very much. And I pray that you will try whatever means that you have to read Habiba. They call me mother of Habiba. So I don't know, maybe. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
Yes, Prof. Jude.
Thank you. All right, Jude, you have the floor to run up, or Lillian, the SPS team.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Thank you. I just want to begin by, again, acknowledging the author. She was introduced to us by Professor Ojaide. So we are happy to have this Nigerian connection. Congratulations again on your book. And I know we have another manuscript of yours, which hopefully should come out next year, a collection of short stories. So we are really, really grateful to be able to celebrate you today, to celebrate African literature, authorship and writing, the beauty of the written word. It's always remarkable to be able to hear from the author, what inspired them to write, to hear other people's take on the things that we publish. So congratulations again. I want to thank, of course, the team behind Spears. It's not just me here. It's Victor, Lillian, and many others. Some could not join, but they are also sending their regards. So thank you all for supporting from the background. And then, of course, to some of our authors who are here, Mr. Jumbam, thank you for being here. I should also just announce to everybody here that we have his own book launch, a book launch of his memoir, coming up November 9, and you'll be seeing the registration link shortly. His is a memoir, and I'm sure that for those who are familiar with his writing, they would love to be part of that event. But I would also want to use this opportunity to invite everyone who is part of the SPS team, whether they're readers or authors, to join us to celebrate that book. If you would love to know more about our platform, we are available on all the different social media handles. You would find us on Twitter, well, currently called X. You find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and we would go by the handle Spears Books. And learn more about us, follow us, like our post, and get in touch if you have questions about submitting a manuscript or how to get any of our text, whether as a desk copy, an exam copy, or you would love to adopt that for your teaching. So thank you again, and congratulations to Professor Mohammed.
Thank you very much. Please let me say something for 1 minute. I did not acknowledge some presence that I've seen here. My auntie is here. She's joining from Maiduguri, Mrs. Hajara Shetima. I thank you she's been reminding me, when is this your program? Thank you very much. And I want to specially thank the reviewers. Maybe I didn't say that. They did a very, very spectacular review of the book. I wish that Zaynab could send me her own copy of the review because it's well done. I thank you all very much. My former students, all of you, Armstrong, Daniel, thank you all for joining. I appreciate everyone. My former colleague, Yana, Idris Yana, I think he was here from the start. Thank you too very much. Thank you. I appreciate. I've just seen their names. Thank you. Spears Books. Bye-bye.
I think the moderator would close out.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Again, I think I began the closing remarks earlier, but I just want to take the opportunity to thank the author again and thank everyone who has taken part in this book launch this afternoon. We look forward to the next launch coming up on November 9. That's also a wonderful read. That's a book that I've been reading. They are kind of slowed down a bit, but I hope to go through the entire text before that date comes. So we'll meet again. Please share the word across the board with friends and colleagues so that we continue to build this momentum and try to raise our voices out there to make sure that, we tell the outside world what we really can do, despite all what else we know that happens. Again, thank you very much and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.